Goldman Sachs जहां पर लोग मर रहे हैं जाने के लिए. I mean, so why is my first question.
Okay, so to be honest, it's not, कि लोग मर रहे जाने के लिए, लोग वहां जाने के बाद भी मर ही रहे हैं तो
कि अगर कोई Goldman Sachs में जाना चाह रहा है, right? If somebody is preparing for it, so what these guys should prepare, what these guys should read or study in order to ace the interview. Everybody wants to get into content creation these days. हर किसी को influencer बनना है. So there are 30 million creators solely on Instagram, 13 million on YouTube. But I think it's not necessary for everybody to get into content creation. तो कोई कैसे डिसाइड कर सकता है whether content creation is for them or not? How can one decide that? What would you suggest to young people who are starting out in their career? Would you suggest them to take up a job and then get into online business, or you'll be like, just start as soon as possible so that you can fail sooner and you can realize sooner whether it's for you or not? Give 3 top advices to a young student or a person who's starting out building online business. नमस्ते एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द क्यूरियस पॉडकास्ट, जहां पर हम करियर ओरिएंटेड पॉडकास्ट करते हैं. एंड इन टुडेज एपिसोड वी आर चैटिंग विद सुशांत लखयानी. सुशांत ने अपना करियर गोल्डमैन सैक्स से शुरू किया था एंड देन लेटर ही गॉट इनटू बिल्डिंग ऑनलाइन बिजनेसेस. टुडे ही हैज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग फॉलोइंग ऑन ट्विटर एंड लिंक्डइन वेयर ही मेक्स कंटेंट अराउंड नो कोड, automation and business case studies and has launched about 100 plus online products. और आज के इस एपिसोड में हम यही जानेंगे कि कैसे आप भी अपना ऑनलाइन बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर सकते हो और कैसे पैसे कमा सकते हो. So if you too are interested and curious about starting an online business and making money online, then this is an episode you won't want to miss. So let's welcome Shushant. Namaste, everyone. So welcome, Shushant, to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm also doing well. Thank you so much for doing this. सबसे पहला question. You quit Goldman Sachs, जहां पर लोग मर रहे हैं जाने के लिए. I mean, so why? Why is my first question.
Okay, so to be honest, it's not, कि लोग मर रहे जाने के लिए, लोग वहां जाने के बाद भी मर ही रहे हैं तो I mean, like that would be my honest opinion. So the reason I quit Goldman Sachs, like I'll start from the beginning. I was in the asset management division, and like I was in the operations division, and in operations I was in asset management, and in it I was in a different team. So basically, the thing here was that my job was, kind of repetitive, to be honest. So I also did many creative things and many, things where problem solving had to be done because I was an engineer. Like for example, I would used to, use these no-code tools. Like there was a no-code tool called Alteryx, which I used in order to do automations. And I mean, this was the way where I helped my team, save their time. But there were many other manual work as well, which was kind of boring, and that was the reason why when things became more boring. And the thing here was that in the long term, the manual work kind of increased and my automation projects kind of decreased. So again, that was something very disappointing for me. So this was the reason why I started thinking about quitting Goldman Sachs. I mean, earlier, I was also exploring opportunities. I was asking people like, can I change my team into, getting into a programming or coding team, or else I can get into something else. But then again, I got to learn that there were not many opportunities, and the thing was that many people were competing here, to get their teams changed as soon as possible. So there was that was another rat race which I had to fight. So I didn't really want to get into there, and the probability of winning was very low because I had seen my seniors also doing this thing, but the probability was not that great. So this was the reason I had thought about quitting. But then again, the next thing apart from this was the long hours of work. I mean, to be honest, the thing here is not like, I mean, most of the days it was like minimum 10 hours of work every day, but many times it also used to increase till 12 hours or 14 hours in the worst case. So
that's a lot.
I mean, I think we all were used to it. So yeah. But the good thing was that my team was really good. We all, used to work like a family. So that was the good part about working in Goldman Sachs. And apart from that, the free food was the plus of working there. I mean, the food is not free right now, but I mean, that time it was the COVID time. So they were giving free food. So yeah, this was these were some reasons why I had decided to quit Goldman.
So you mentioned that there are long working hours. I think this is a good segue to another question. How is Goldman Sachs as for a fresher?
I mean, it depends, to be honest, on the team in which you get. Like,
Hmm.
or as such, you never know, which team you'll be getting into. Because for me, it was like camp. They came for campus placements. They took a bunch of people, and everyone was, into different teams. Or like some people were grouped into same teams as well, but most people were in different teams itself. So I think it depends on the team in which you are, and how is the progression in that team. Like, let's say if someone from that team also goes to some other team, so how is the career progression of yours? I mean, it should not be like, you're in one team and then you're just stuck. You cannot, change into anything. Like, I gave my example. I was not able to see a bright future of mine as, a computer
Hmm.
science, like going into the computer science team of Goldman Sachs, like the engineering
Hmm.
team which they had. So that's why that was a major reason why I had decided to quit. Apart from that, the long hours were also a problem because, like, let's say I want to learn something, people also like learning something, like not just about Goldman Sachs. Like, to be honest, many people also prepare for the CFA or any other thing,
Right.
like, along with working at Goldman. So I
Hmm.
had seen that since there was no time, I was not able to prepare for anything as well. Even I tried to prepare for, like, I think GMAT, GRE, and CAT, and all of that, because my parents were pressurizing that, you should do this if you're not liking your job.
Hmm.
So I mean, that was a thing, like, where, things start getting much boring. And the thing about working long hours is that you burn out in the weekend. Like, let's say for 5 days you work, and then on Saturday, Sunday, you can't really work a lot. Like, it becomes really hectic on weekends to work in one way.
Hmm. 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 So, you joined as an analyst, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So, analyst का exactly role क्या होता है? Could you, I mean, obviously you can't just give out too much details, but still, whatever you can share in that way, what does an analyst do actually as a fresher?
I mean, again, I would say it depends on your team. Like, to be honest, even
Okay.
a person in the engineer team is called as an analyst, but that guy would be working on writing code. Whereas here in my team, I mean, in my team also, a fresher would be referred to as an analyst, but that person won't be working on writing code. That person would be working on, internal operations of Goldman Sachs. So I think of analyst as a basically as a beginner level.
Hmm.
I mean, beginner level position at Goldman Sachs. I don't think of it as any other way, because there are also these guys from, like MBA colleges, like IIMs. When these guys also join, they are also referred as analyst itself. But of course, though, their work is much more, they have to take up much more responsibility. They have to work more, and they
Hmm.
have to, I mean, their work is more different than what I'm doing, or else what
Okay.
another computer science engineer is doing in the engineering team. So I would just
Hmm.
say it's just a beginner term for me.
Hmm.
Nothing
Hmm. Hmm.
much.
I don't know if you still remember the day when you interviewed for Goldman Sachs. So could you talk a little bit about how was your interview experience, and could you share a bit about what kind of questions were asked, just to see कि अगर कोई Goldman Sachs में जाना चाह रहा है, right? If somebody is preparing for it, so what these guys should prepare, what these guys should read or study in order to ace the interview.
Okay, so I mean, as far as I remember, my interviews mostly, I mean, it was also technical as well as, some
Hmm.
finance concepts were asked, but the finance concepts weren't in much depth. I mean, I remember I had done a course on stock markets, and that was more than enough for me. Apart from
Okay.
that, in the analytics part, they asked questions on Python and SQL. Yeah, I mean, only they gave some problems on this, like real life application problems on Python and SQL, including finance. So, I mean, this was asked. Apart from that, the interviewers, chile, they were just seeing my problem solving and, pressure
Hmm.
handling skills. So it wasn't much of a trouble.
Okay, okay. So you yourself have built an audience of 38,000 followers on Twitter, 17,000 followers on LinkedIn, an email list of around 20,000 people. So how were you able to build this audience in such a short span of time?
Okay, to be honest, I think that people, can build a much huge audience in such a short span of time. I sometimes think that I have not really done a good job, but thanks for letting me know that I've done a good job. So I would say I had experimented a lot in this time period. I had basically started with, like just posting. I mean, moments of my own life, like I'm going here today, I'm doing this. Like I had started on Twitter initially, so then, I mean, it worked quite okay. So I did not get a huge audience, or I didn't get a high quality audience. But then later I had pivoted my niche again to, talking about business case studies. I think that worked well for me on Twitter, and then that gave me the confidence to move on to LinkedIn as well. When I started posting on LinkedIn, these case studies didn't work really well until and unless, it was of some great famous celebrity. So again, I was experimenting on Twitter as well as I was experimenting on LinkedIn as well. Then when I created these case studies, I had started, analyzing other content creators. Like, let's say there is Harsh Makadia, then there is Hassan Toor, then I mean there is Islo, then there are also many other Indian content creators that were doing great on Twitter. I was analyzing them, analyzing what they are doing, how they are getting such good reach. Then I pivoted my niche somewhat into no code and automation. Here I had changed it into no code because I had partnered with someone in their no code cohort. So I had to create more content on no code and automation. And suddenly I saw that, people were liking this more as compared to just business case studies. And that was the same with LinkedIn. People on LinkedIn were liking it as well. So here I think I got really good like attention on LinkedIn and Twitter. And then my audience started boosting up. So what I learned here is that people love curations. The reason why people love curations is, I mean, I think of it, as I'll give an example of a stand-up comedy show. Let's say you're going to a stand-up comedy show and someone is just, explaining a story like Zakir Khan, but that these guys are really good at explaining one story. But then, let's say there is another comedian who comes and just, gives 10 jokes, and all of these 10 jokes are like 10 dopamine boosts for you. Like, it's like one joke, one dopamine boost. So that's why I understood that this is the reason why curations work so well. I started posting more curations, and I also posted some of my personal moments. I also posted business case studies sometimes, but I was focused more on creating curations that would get more attention. Then I started understanding what my audience basically likes the most. For example, I had tested for the first time, I guess, in June. Yeah, it was June. So in June, for the first time, I had tested that, let me post about remote job boards, and that got like, I guess, 15 million views on Twitter, 15. So yeah.
That's pretty
So
amazing.
yeah, that way I understood that my audience needs this, I guess. Then I also did a poll recently, I guess last week itself. I did a poll that, what do you want to learn online from me? Like, is it that you're good, you want to get a job, or do you want to learn how to make money online, or do you want to learn about
To
how to
gauge
use AI
what your
tools?
audience is more interested in.
Yeah, I mean, that was the reason I had done that poll. You can also see I have that poll on LinkedIn as well. I guess on Twitter I had deleted because I was like, I got 100 votes, and I understood that this is the thing my audience wants the most. So I understood basically what they want, how they want. Even in case studies, I analyzed each and every case study. I'll give an example. I had posted a case study about, how Logan Paul built his audience and made money. Then I also posted a case study about how Ali Abdal built his audience and made money online. So the Ali Abdal case study got a huge response. I gained more followers also, and people liked it. So I understood that this is what my audience would like, why it would like Ali Abdal. I understood they are more focused into productivity, making money online, and they can relate more to Ali Abdal as compared to Logan Paul. So I think it is a lot of, analysis on a daily basis that has worked in the long term. As of now, I'm focused on, posting multiple posts on Twitter, but on LinkedIn, I just post once, because LinkedIn is not my major, I mean, it's not my major platform, because the ROI on LinkedIn for me is not that great as compared to Twitter. So on Twitter right now, I'm posting one listicle post, one listicle tweet, one listicle thread, and one how-to guide. How-to guides are also working really well. I missed this. So I also learned that when this AI thing was booming, AI niche was booming, I understand
Yeah.
that people want to learn how to use AI tools. So for
Right.
example, I had started with, I guess, I don't remember the tool which I started, but I had just posted a how-to guide of one tool, including videos in every step. So I learned that people liked it a lot. Also, last week I had posted a video about, let's say, how to, do product photography using AI. I had posted how to train an entire model on your product. I had posted each and every small step. So people liked it. It got like 1,200 bookmarks. So I understood that people are liking this type of content. So I think it's just, experimenting and observing what other creators are doing, experimenting what works the best for you on a daily basis. Yeah.
So just to summarize, one definitely what I could gauge from whatever you told is that you have to be consistently putting out content. Number one. Second is you have to understand over a period of time what your audience is liking more with respect to your content. So you have to tweak in a little. and then obviously keep trying out new ideas and new perspectives. I hope I was able to summarize it.
Yeah, that's correct.
My next question is that everybody wants to get into content creation these days. हर किसी को influencer बनना है. So there are 30 million creators solely on Instagram, 13 million on YouTube. But I think it's not necessary for everybody to get into content creation. तो कोई कैसे decide कर सकता है whether content creation is for them or not? How can one decide that?
I would say it depends on your goals, to be honest, because not everyone, wants to put themselves out there and, just build a business out of content creation. To be honest, content creation, many people think of it as, you're just creating funny videos on Instagram. Like, let's say I tell a neighborhood auntie that, I'm a content creator. She would say, ki, I've never seen your videos on YouTube. Do you do comedy videos? What type of comedy you do? So she doesn't know that, there are educational creators as well. But I think it should be done by everyone because, to be honest, content creation gives you a taste of business, how it works. You put yourself out there, and when you, let's say, even when you get a brand deal, you understand how to negotiate. You understand, like how to even do cold DMs to other brands and get more brand deals. So most of the times in our like normal schools or colleges, we are never taught, even how to do a cold DM, how to even send a cold email in order to get a response. Also, the thing about content creation is that many people don't really know persuasion. I think content creation is all about persuasion. When you understand, what clicks to humans, what humans like, you understand how the human mind works. I think that's the most important thing about content creation. So I think everyone should try. Of course, it's not meant for everyone, but I think everyone should, of course, give it a try. In an honest way, instead of just going about like. To be honest, many of my friends today want to be a content creator, so they just send me a message, ki we'll start posting today, and you just have to repost all of our post and then retweet. I mean, sorry, comment on it, like it, so we get more reach. So I mean, people are focused just on getting these metrics, vanity metrics, which don't really matter. To be honest, there are also creators with, let's say, 10,000 followers who are making $10,000 per month, but there are also creators like memers, for example, who are having more than 1 lakh followers, but they don't really make $10,000 every month. So it depends a lot. Like, yeah.
Yeah, people with less followers are also making decent amount of money through online these content creation. So, Shushant, you were mentioning about negotiating a brand deal. So, how can one reach out to brands and gain more and more brand deals so that they can monetize their social media or monetize their content creation game?
Okay, so I'll mention how I go about this. Many a times I get inbound DMs for brands, so okay, these are sorted. But many a times, to be honest, also you should see about brands having creator funds. So many people don't really know about this. Brands these days are having creator funds. So what happens in creator funds is that they pay you. I mean, it depends for every brand to brand, but many times they pay you, $1 for every 1,000 views on your post. So first you have to see on that brand's website if they are having any such creator funds where, creators can work with them and get money without, any cold DM or something. But if you have to send a cold email, so you first, the easiest way is to ask another creator to refer you. Like, let's say there is any other creator friend of yours that has done a brand deal with the brand, so you can just ask him or her to refer you. That is the easiest way. If you're planning to go for a cold DM, first see if they are having any social media handles, because getting a reply on an email is relatively harder as compared to getting reply on social media. So message them on each and every social media handle, see if you're getting a response. Mostly you'll get a response on social media handles, but if you're going for an email, then you also have to show some proof of work, and a lot of work goes into the emails. Like how I basically start with the email is that I mention my online audience across various different social media channels. Then I mention my niche, that I have my audience in this and this niche. Then I mention ki, then like, here is my proof of work with other brands. You can also like host your proof of work on your own website. But I also message them that this is the work that I have done with other brands. These are the number of clicks I've generated for them. So then there are higher chances to get a reply, because they also see in the email itself that I have worked with other brands. So like, say I've got them 1,000 clicks in one tweet itself. So I think this increases the chances in an email, of course, because the emails are harder to get replies.
And are you open to variety of brands, or do you specifically reach out to brands who are closely connected to the type of content you're creating?
I mostly reach out to brands who are just related to my niche. Like for example, I have got many offers, inbound offers as well for Web3 related brands, but
Hmm.
I mostly deny them because my content is not at all related to Web3. Many a times I also got DMs to like promote brands who are in the proper programming niche, but I don't
Hmm.
create content on core programming stuff itself, so I
Yeah.
also deny them. So I just focus on no code or AI
Hmm.
tools or automation related tools itself.
So, this is one thing that could be a little controversial, but do creators usually use the stuff that they are promoting? Do you do that?
I mean, most of the times I myself create an account because, mostly, so see, for me, if I'm creating a sponsored post for someone, I can create two types of post. The first is I just have to mention your features. The
Hmm.
other post which I can do is I have to prepare a how-to guide on your entire tool. So
Hmm.
when I'm creating a how-to guide, I have to log in into your tool. I need the access to the tool, and then, I can create videos on it or, capture images about how to use this particular tool. So
Hmm.
for those tools, of course, I have to use the tool. So I'm using the tool and then only I'm promoting the brand.
Hmm.
But many a times, what happens is that some of these products, are in beta. I mean, they just have their beta launch and they just work with a small set of clients. They haven't launched to the public. So you can't get access to these tools. So at
Hmm.
those times, I ask them, okay, you send some video demos of your tool so that I can use it and then I can explain others how to use it. So, I mean, these are the two cases. Mostly for brands who have just done their beta launch, they are the only ones who don't let you access your tool. So I mean, there's no option. I can't even access the tool. So I just have
Yeah.
to promote it that way. I just have to show the demo of their tool itself.
Hmm. Right.
That's the thing.
So I was going through one of your emails and I found out that you also do affiliate marketing. How
Hmm.
can one go about taking these deals, which and help you earn affiliate commission? How can one actually go about it?
To be honest, right now I'm getting many affiliate deals. So I mean, I just go about the selected ones. So let's say many a times I just promote courses in my affiliate emails, and
Hmm.
these courses are basically Gumroad courses or courses of good creators on Twitter.
That
Like I
you
had
personally follow.
Yeah, I personally follow, and of course, I like these guys are my friends, so I
Oh.
do affiliate for them. Like for example, I had done one for Parker Worth, then I had done one for AI Solopreneur who made like I guess $175,000 like in his course launch. Also, Parker also made good money, but yeah, I go for these people, who are actually getting good reviews. First of all, I also see the product if it is really good, if it is having a high
Hmm.
demand, also if it is going viral on Twitter, if it's promoted by other big creators as well. So these both
Hmm.
people's courses were promoted by other creators, they were going viral. So this was the reason. I'm just giving an example, like I chose to work with them like as an affiliate.
Hmm. 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 Right. So you yourself have garnered good number of following on Twitter. So what's your advice to people who are starting out content creation on Twitter? Let's just specifically stick to Twitter in this answer.
Hmm. So as of now, I would say Twitter is more of a conversational platform as compared to, just a content creation platform. Like, I mean, to be honest, I think every platform out there is just a conversational platform right now. So what people think is that, they will create a high quality post and they'll post it and it'll just, magically go viral, which never happens. So I would say not
Ask
to
me,
do that.
I've been there.
I understand. So I would say, like they should not start with this. What they should basically start with is that they should post content, but they should just post, let's say, one tweet or one post a day, and then they should focus more on engagement, building relationships with
Hmm.
creators. So I would say they should first focus on, they should create a Twitter list. Like you can create a list of, let's say, people who you want, who you like on Twitter, to
Hmm.
engage with them in a better way. So
Hmm.
in the Twitter list, there should be 30 accounts at least. I have 100 accounts, but there should be 30 at least. They should first list should be about 10 creators who are in your same niche and have the same followers as you. Then there should be another list which should be of creators who are again in your same niche, but they have a huge audience. Like huge means extremely huge.
Hmm.
Then there should be a third list about creators who are in different niches but who you like personally like and who you like engaging with. So there should be these three lists of 30 accounts, like 10 accounts, and you should engage with them daily. And people should also try to, turn on notifications for the top creators, like the ones which they like and who have a huge audience. Because let's say I'll give you an example. If a creator with 1 million followers, or let's say even Elon Musk today has posted a tweet right now, and I am the first commenter of that post, even if my comment, has just two words written, blah, blah, that would go viral because he's gonna get 1 million views in, let's say, I guess, in an hour. And again, if he's getting 1 million views, so you have the first comment, which is blah, blah, that would at least have 10,000 views, and someone would follow you from it. I mean, don't comment blah, blah, but I'm just giving an example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that way, even you have to strategize how you're commenting on a creator's post.
But still, I mean, engagement and creating original content is at par, right? You can't just put that you have to focus entirely on content creation, or you can't just entirely focus on engagement to actually win the game, right?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, to be honest, don't focus much on content creation in the earlier days, because I would say, let's say, at least till you get 1,000 followers, no one is really going to, take you that seriously. So you can post whatever you want, even if you want to post that, you're having dalgona coffee or whatever, you can just post that and you're done for the day. I mean, it would be more about relationship building in the earlier phase, because you here, firstly, when you're, engaging with 10 small creators in your niche, you are building trust with them, you're building friends. So these friends would help you earlier, because you guys are going to grow together, because you guys have a same audience. And when you're engaging with a larger creator in your niche itself, like 10 accounts, so then it would also help you to build trust with the creator who has a large audience. That guy might reply, and then that guy might also, start replying to your DMs, even if he has or has not seen your content. So I would say that is the thing, that in the initial stage, it is good to build relationships rather than focusing on, just virality, or I mean, just making money from Twitter. Yeah.
So you've written building in public on your LinkedIn bio. So what does building in public means, and has it been useful for your business so far?
I mean, I had tried it earlier when I was launching my startup. So on Twitter, it helped me a lot to get a lot of attention from many founders and these other big people. But on LinkedIn, I think building in public doesn't work, because LinkedIn is an entirely different platform. If you're writing about professional stuff on LinkedIn, that works better. Like building in public works better on Twitter, because I would say you're just putting your idea out there, like this is the thing I'm building and this is everything about it. Like if I'm building my newsletter in public today, I share everything about it to people. Like I was commenting on Matt McGarry's post, that I have changed my newsletter into a daily newsletter and my open rates are dropping. So I'm just revealing it to everyone. To I mean, I don't know how many people I might have seen it, but people know that, okay, his open rates are dropping. So in building in public is basically you're sharing each and every small update about your startup or else your product to the public, so that you could also get active feedback on it. Like let's say if Matt McGarry or else anyone else might have responded that this is the way, these are the things you have to change, you have to remove some email subscribers in order to get your open rates better on your email. So I mean, when you're building in public, the best thing is just the feedback thing. Like the audience, your audience itself, your Twitter followers itself would say that this is the bad thing about your course, this is the bad thing about your SaaS tool or something. Or else they might say, okay, this is the good tool, this is the good thing, you should double down on how to make this feature better. So when you're building in public, the only bad thing is that someone might steal your idea, but someone can also steal it later. They don't really need to wait for you to build in public. So I would just say that people should build in public only because they can build something what their audience wants. So let's say I'm building, even I'll give an example of AI Solopreneur here. AI Solopreneur was building his course in public, like I think for 3 weeks, and then he had launched it. So he was sharing each and everything with his audience about the course. He also had scheduled interviews with his audience members, like to know more what they would like to have in the course. And then on the basis of that feedback, he built his entire course. Also, he was sharing the feedback which people were giving. Like some people were saying to include this, so he was also sharing that I got this feedback on this call. So the entire process of building in public also, heated up the excitement for his course, because he was sharing it on a daily basis. People were liking it. Also, other
Yeah.
people were talking it that, I got on a call with AI solopreneur and this that happened. So I think this is the best thing about building in public, is
It
that,
builds the hype,
yeah,
probably.
I would say you end up building a product that your audience likes. I mean, that's the
Right.
easiest thing you do.
So you're basically not just using whatever knowledge you have, you're actually customizing it according to your customer's need.
Yeah.
It's actually very interesting to me because I have never done that. And I was listening to you very carefully because I might try it in future for any course that I'll build, because this is so interesting that the feedback loop specifically is so fast that if there is a portion about your course, or let's just say any product that you're building for that matter, has such a quick feedback that you can immediately tweak and make it according to the uh, uh, make it according to your customers liking. So that's pretty interesting to me.
I mean, that's the best thing. Also, I remember this thing from AI Solopreneur itself. So someone, after purchasing his course, someone had said that I went through the entire course and I don't like it now. Please refund me. So he had also shared that thing also on Twitter. He was building in public at such extent that he also shared the criticism which he got from his course. And then he asked people that, is it that bad? How can I improvise? What is the wrong thing here? What should I do? So, I mean, that is how building in public helps you.
But this also looks scary to me, because what if you fail and then people start criticizing you, and you will be criticized in public, and it's also scary, but it also looks exciting. Does it scare you too?
I mean, yeah, it did scare me, to be honest. I remember when I had launched, I think it was 999 plus tweet ideas or something. I had launched this last year in October. It was my second launch in Product Hunt. And for this, I had entirely, I guess, built in public for a week. Like, I was sharing memes that I'm going to launch this. This is going to be the idea. But in comments, many people also said that there are so many tools. Why would I use this? Then there were people who had said that, like, how much are you going to price this tool? Because there were other competitors who were pricing it at a relatively higher price. Like, let's say, I won't mention the creators, but these guys were charging $150 for such material, like,
Yeah.
like tweet ideas or whatever. So they were like, how much are you going to price it? Don't price it too high. And some other person was like, this is going to be a scam. You'll just mention tweet ideas. How would I even write it? So I was like, okay, I understood that. I have to also mention, how people can write it. Then another person was like, this surely won't work for me because there are hundreds of niches on Twitter, and how can I really use this product that you're building? So I had then segregated it according to different niches. I had mentioned some sample tweets as well. I had basically created it in a different way so that people would actually like it. So yeah, it helped me a lot.
Um, a very interesting question here. You've also done executive MBA, right? So, did this education help you in your startup?
To be honest, I didn't really do it. I mean, so I'll just tell you the story honestly. Like, when I had planned to build my startup, I was just, on my laptop all day, and my parents were like, I don't know what you're doing on your laptop. You're just doing nothing. You're not earning anything, and you're just sitting here all day. So, I mean, I thought that, I should do some startup MBA. So Stoa was a startup MBA at that time, and it was, like, it was a distance MBA in one way. So it was quite easy for me to, like, learn while just being at home and not really, studying a lot. So that was the reason I had opted for this MBA. It was nothing else. Of course, I did not complete it. To be honest, I just have listed, I think I have just completed the requirements for the MBA thing. Like, they had this requirement, I think, of completing 75% assignments. So they would just give you this certificate. I just got that. I did not give the exam, neither did I clear it. So yeah, that is because at that time I was like, I had a lot of work. I think when the exams were happening, like, I was managing ghostwriting, info product building. Then I was also working as an affiliate creator for another brand. Then I was also managing other brand deals. Then I had Twitter, LinkedIn, and everything going on. So I thought
Lots of stuff.
not to take the exam seriously. Yeah.
So you can call you an MBA or not?
No, not at all. I just got one certification of certificate of, participation in one way that those guys gave for doing 75% assignments.
Okay, no problem. So you quit Goldman Sachs, you started your business, you started your SaaS business, but then somehow you couldn't take it further. And then you got into content creation. So, in this particular experience, what would you suggest to young people who are starting out in their career? Would you suggest them to take up a job and then get into online business, or you'll be like, just start as soon as possible so that you can fail sooner and you can realize sooner whether it's for you or not?
Okay, so here I would say it depends on the type of people. I'll give an example of some of my friends. So these guys don't really want to take risk. Like I remember one of my friends when I was quitting my job at Goldman Sachs was like, "You'll just end up in your family business. You won't be able to do anything." So he was
Hmm.
like, instead of that, just continue the job and be happy here.
Hmm.
So I think it depends on, the mindset of a person. If you want a stable mindset, I would say just be in a job. Don't leave a job at all, because once you get
Hmm.
into business or content creation, it's gonna be a headache as compared to a job, because a job is, to be honest, it's comfortable. You're going
Yeah.
to do this today, then you're going to do this tomorrow, then you keep till waiting till Friday, then
Hmm.
again you go on Monday to your job, and then you keep waiting till Friday. So I think it's a repetitive cycle, which kind of, I think people like, some people like I see my friends, they like it. But
Hmm.
I also see other friends of mine who are really, willing to hustle. So I think it's for
Hmm.
these people who don't really want a comfortable life in the beginning.
Hmm.
I would say, if you don't really want that, and it's not, just to make money faster or make money online. I mean, these things will come in place later. But
Hmm.
I would say, if you are someone who doesn't need a comfortable life, or if you want to learn something on your own, then I think business is the only way. Like, even if it's content creation, even content creation is a great way to start, but it's only doing some kind of a business that would help you. So I think it depends on the mindset of an individual. I won't say that, I have any advice for anyone, because if someone wants a comfortable life, of course you can go for a job. But if you want something else, if you want to hustle, if you want to, not run after money, because a job would give you stable money right now. When
Hmm.
you get into
Absolutely.
entrepreneurship, or even if you quit your job. So I remember, like, I did not earn a single rupee for the first 6 months, anything, from content creation. So I mean, you also have to then listen from your relatives that this is your age right
Hmm.
now, you have to get married after 3 years, you're unemployed,
Hmm.
what are you even doing? So if you're
Hmm.
someone who has the, I think, the you're able to take it, you're able to take what
Yeah.
people say,
You
you're
have to
able
be
to take.
really thick-skinned to
Yeah.
sort of take all of that.
Yeah,
And
that's the word I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you have that thing in you, then only you can go for business or content creation, or, build a startup, whatever you want. Otherwise, I would say just be happy in a
Hmm.
job. Don't really take that risk if you don't like being uncomfortable. Yeah.
Hmm. And also, the word I mean that we should rather use here is stability, because a lot of
Hmm.
people, they do not like instability. They get anxious that what's going to happen in the future. So if you're in general a very anxious person and you're very you want a lot of control in your life, it'll be better for you to stick to a job, accumulate your capital, and then whenever you're ready you can go ahead and get into your online business. But on the other hand, if you're like, okay, your risk appetite is a little broader, I would say, then you can just jump right into the online business or entrepreneurship, because the learning experience that you'll have in the start, it is going to set the roots for your coming years. So I hope I was able to add to that, whatever you mentioned.
Yeah, I agree on it, but still, I would not advise, if someone, I mean, if someone, even builds that, wealth in some years and still wants to build an online business, if someone doesn't still like an uncomfortable life, I would still not
Okay.
advise to go for a business, because I've seen some of my, so I'll just say it honestly. So after I had quit my job after an year, some of my
Hmm.
friends from Goldman Sachs itself have reached out to me, that I also want to get into content creation.
Hmm.
I also want to do this or that, like you're doing. So I just asked them one thing, like, you guys have this money right now, but are you still gonna be able to, live without a salary or a fixed income without these months, for,
Hmm.
let's say, for 6 months? So these guys were like, no, we can't really do that, because we are used to it right now. They are used to that,
Hmm.
repetitive income coming every month and
That
or.
that becomes their safety net, that salary.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So yeah, if that's why, like, I think I advise them not to get into it. And the other thing was that these guys then, have a rush to make money online fast. Like, these guys were like, you just retweet our tweets, and so that we'll get good reach, and then we'll also start making money. I was like, what? I mean, that's not gonna help a lot.
And
Yeah.
that's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
You can
I mean,
only
it works
support
for some
someone so
people.
far.
I mean, it works for some people. You might not know, but there are creators on YouTube who have just grown an audience on the basis of shout outs. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't work, help a lot, to be honest.
Right. So this brings us to the end of the podcast. But before we sign off, my last question to you would be uh, give 3 top advices to a young student or a person who's starting out in building online business.
Okay, so the first advice I would give is that don't rush into money. So the more you think about money, the more tense it would get. It won't, you would just feel like quitting, because if in the initial phase itself you're thinking about money, that won't work. The second thing I would suggest is that have multiple sources of income. Don't just depend on one. Like, let's say, for example, I'm a creator on Twitter. I can't just depend on Twitter ad revenue because it's bad. Apart from that, I mean, it's not very reliable. Twitter can shadow
Hmm.
ban my account anytime. Twitter can also ban my account. So I would say that it's better to have multiple sources of income rather than having just one. Of course, even building multiple sources of income is hard because whenever you step up into another source of income, you have to put in your time as well. Even if you're
Yeah.
employing someone, so you also have to put time into that employee. So build multiple sources of income. The third thing which I would say is that play the long term game instead of playing the short term game. Like, for
Hmm.
example, here I've seen many people just changing their niche again and again and again and again just for the sake of going viral. Like, let's say today, I mean, for example, let's say today,
Hmm.
if elections are going viral, they'll start posting about elections and they'll post for it
Hmm.
for, let's say, 3 months. Then if AI
Hmm.
is going viral, they'll suddenly jump into AI from elections,
Hmm.
and then they'll start posting AI for 6 to 8 months. Then another trend will come, then they'll jump on that. And so
Hmm.
play the long term game, see what is working for you. For example, for me, it's no code automation AI, and whatever it's around automation, I'll just post about it. I won't post about programming. I'm not going to
Hmm.
post about Web3 because that's not what I want to
Right.
talk about. Or even if even I don't understand those things. So
Hmm.
I would say just play the long term game. Not Don't really play the short term game. Of course, you're going to make money in short term games, but the long term game helps a lot.
Hmm. Right. Your audience will also get confused if, one day you're making content about politics and the other day you're making content about AI or Web3 for that
Mhm.
matter.
I mean, I agree on that, but many people do it. I mean, it works really well.
It
To
works
be
for them?
honest, it works the best. If you're
Really?
following trends, it is the best way to build an audience. Even I know that, but I'm not doing it. But yeah, it is the best way. It works 100% every time.
Hmm. That's something interesting. So that's all for now. We'll come up with another podcast. So if you guys have any questions related to online business, building audience on Twitter or LinkedIn, post your comments. And Sushant will be happy to take them up. You can reach out to Sushant on LinkedIn as well as follow him on Twitter. He posts great content if you really want to get into AI and stuff. Thank you so much, Sushant, for doing this. Really loved it. In fact, it was a learning experience for me. I got to learn so many new things from you. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no worries. I think it was not a podcast for me. It was just a conversation, like a normal conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Bye bye.